You are listening to the Cattle Call Podcast. This is the place where computer-aided design and drafting meets humor and practicality, with a touch of business acumen thrown in for fun. Jim and Rocco, the owners of Zentech Consultants, the premier U.S. technology consulting firm for architecture, engineering, construction, and manufacturing, discuss the fascinating world of CAD with some humor and some honesty. The Cattle Call Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Cattle Call Podcast with Jim and Rocco from Zentech Consultants. I am Jim, your overtly charming host. And with me, as always, is my partner,
the tall, dark, and handsome one, Rocco.
You are none of those things, dude. Not even a little bit.
I am.
You're short, pale, and kind of goofy looking. Just like me. The two of us. Oh, goodness. But that's all right. We're all entitled to our delusions. I pretend I'm charming. You can pretend you're tall, dark, and handsome. All right. So let's get into it today. So the first thing we're going to talk about, okay, tall, dark, and handsome fella. You know what it means, though. It means it's time for the engineering joke.
I was just going to say, did you forget about the engineering joke?
I never forget about that joke. Torturing you with these jokes is the high point of my entire week, dude. All right, Rocco, so here's your question. Ready? Why are thermometers smarter than test tubes?
Why?
Because they have more degrees. Huh?
Oh, boy.
Oh, come on. That's funny right there. Oh, that's awful. All right, folks. So today we're going to do another of our recurring episodes that we call Bluebeam Features You Need in Your Life. Because Bluebeam Review is such a cool program and just about everybody out there listening works with it at some level. We do a ton of consulting work around the Bluebeam environment here at Zentech, so it's kind of a natural for us to help you guys get a little better at using it. So today I want to hit on an often overlooked, process in review, and that is templates. And look, nothing world-shaking here. Templates are exactly what you think. They're blank PDF files that you can use to start filling out forms and emails and even output reports for your project. And the great thing is that these templates can include just about anything that you want to, okay? Everything from form fields and buttons to text and logos and line work. So they can help you to ensure that you are getting the data that you need from both the field and from your clients, and that it's being provided in the format that you want in order to help you guys be more efficient. So Rocco, let me ask you this. Do you find that our clients are generally kind of aware of the template capabilities of Bluebeam, or is it something that we need to kind of introduce them to?
I think they're aware that some of the capabilities that you're talking about here, but this is kind of new to me too. So it's a little bit of a learning process for me, and something that I'll be able to talk to customers about moving forward. So you're going to teach me something.
I get to teach Rocco? Oh, it's a good day. So I'm going to say that's a no then, that you're not talking to them all that much about it if you don't even know what it is. Okay, that's fine. That's good. We can pick up all new stuff here today together. All right, so let's kind of start with the basic concept of creating a template and review for a standard PDF file. Since a lot of our listeners I know are in the construction space, let's start with something basic like your daily field report. Now, look, I have seen a lot of companies handle this with, Word documents or using, some of the complex construction management systems like, Procore or Autodesk Build. And they have built-in processes, right? But for most of us, that's a little bit of overkill, right? For something as simple as this. Our site staff, they want something that's quick and easy and repeatable, right? To fill out. And Bluebeam is ideal for that. All right. So, to start with, we're just going to create a new blank PDF at whatever page size you want. 8.5 by 11 is pretty common. But I'll say this, right? Just something for you guys to think about. If you're not planning on printing these reports out to paper, if you're going to keep them purely digital, Don't be afraid of going to large format sizes like a 24 by 36, right? So that you can really have a lot of room for a lot of data that's really easily readable. From there, we start with the basics, right? We're just going to, start putting things on like your company logo. You're going to put on fields for specific job details, right? And here's what I will say. Right? These should all be what we call dynamic form fields that people can fill in for items like, the project name, the job type, the job number, the date, and so on. The key is that word dynamic. You'll want to have the Bluebeam complete version to do this, right? And because that includes all the form creation tools that make this happen. It creates those dynamic interactive fields that people can fill out. And keep in mind, right? Once these tools are created in your template, any PDF writer can access and use them. You only need the complete license for whoever the person is, building those templates, or you can always give Rocco some work and call us NTech and we'll be happy to create the forms for you. But it's really important, I think, that you don't just put in, lines or boxes to show people, here's where you should enter the data and call it a day. All right. We call those static templates and everybody hates them. You have to go in and you have to use, text creation tools to fill them out instead of just clicking in the field and typing. And not only that, right, but those text tool entries are dangerous, right? They can be accidentally moved, deleted, reformatted, and sometimes they won't show up in other PDF editors, which is definitely not good. All right, so, Rocco, besides listening to me constantly complain whenever we get static forms from our lawyers and insurance companies, how often do you hear clients gripe about having to deal with forms that are static instead of dynamic?
Yeah, it comes up often enough, and it's just about ease of use, right? I mean, if you own Bluebeam, he should be using this functionality. It's there and makes your life a hell of a lot easier. Who wants to print out those forms and handwrite them and scan them back in? And I mean, especially if you're working in a dispersed environment, you've got people out in the field. I mean, it just makes sense to do it this way.
Yeah, it's just much smarter. So, all right, so kind of let's get back to our, the field report template that I brought up earlier, right? So on this, the next thing that you're going to want to add are fields for things like, weather conditions. And I also strongly recommend at something like this, you use check boxes, right? So you can put little check marks next to things like, sunny, check, cloudy, check, raining, check, right? Instead of text fields that you expect people to type this out. Things like that will make it a lot easier for you users. Just, click the appropriate checks box for that day and just move on. I always recommend check boxes and drop down lists whenever possible instead of entries, your text-based entries. The whole idea of this template that we're talking about is to speed things up. All right. So, you guys want to be a little bit imaginative and look at eliminating the tedium of filling in text boxes wherever you can. And look, don't get me wrong, you will need text boxes to list the work accomplished each day, right? Generally you want to list out things like tasks and status as text boxes, but those can potentially be drop down lists as well if you really want to, if you got standard functions that you want to give your field guys a chance to select. And like I said, you can also go in and start adding in other text fields for things like, crews, who was on site, list their names out, right? What did they do? What equipment was used? What materials were delivered? Right? Anything that's being used on a given day. But like I said, the key is to limit the text when you can. I am a big fan, huge fan of yes, no check boxes, right? And a small explanatory text below them with a little bit of detail, right? I mean, an example that would be like a simple question on your field report says, what was a site safety inspection performed today? And it just has a little yes or no checkbox next to that. and a little text box underneath that that says, describe any safety violations found, so they can type in if they saw a problem. Right? The overall idea is to build a standard form, right, that we can save as a template, which we can open every single day on the site, right? That takes us just a couple of minutes to fill out, and then we just move on, right? Save it and move on, right? And the great thing is that, these templates can cover anything at all, right? From construction processes like RFIs, you can get into insurance verifications, even dealing with HR and employee data and timesheets, right? It's up to you what you need, but Review can handle all of them, right? And it makes for a very consistent, easy information collection, right? Which is the whole point of the templates, right? All right, so now that I think covers the templates concept. All right, so I tell you what, let's take a break here to listen to today's sponsor. But when we get back, I want to get into how the actual template processing process works inside a Review. All right, so stand by, folks. We'll be back in just a minute with more of the Cattle Call Podcast. All right, everybody, this is Jim and Rocco from Zentech Consultants talking to you today about our Zentech Bluebeam review tools. All right, our Zentech review tools are an awesome way for you guys to be able to get out there and do some lightweight takeoffs on your projects. Look, Bluebeam Review in and of itself offers fast, simple, and accurate takeoff of all your building structures, all right, but most of us still struggle with getting consistent output on each project. And that's where Zentech review tools for Bluebeam comes in. It gives you a full suite of simple to use tools designed specifically for your own trade or industry that'll just show up right inside of everybody's Bluebeam in your entire company. We have sets for site work, structural, exteriors, interiors, even a set of tools specifically for general contractors, and more on the way. So Rocco, why don't you tell folks where they can find out more about our Zentech review tools?
Yep, it's at zentechconsultants.net, and you can actually purchase them right off of our e-store if you want. Or if you want to talk to us, give us a call, 866-824-4459, or drop us an email, sales@zentechconsultants.net.
There you go, folks. Zentech review tools exclusively from Zentech Consultants. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Cattle Call Podcast. We're talking about Bluebeam features you need in your life, and today we're focusing on templates. So, once you guys have created a PDF, any PDF, with all of your logos and forms and fields and text and checkboxes in it, how do you make it a template? Well, that's one of the things I like best in Review. All you need to do is save that PDF into your current Review templates folder, and you're done. All right, now, the important thing I want you guys to note here is that by default, the templates folder is on your local C drive, right? But you can change it, just repath it to a network location. If you do that, you can have everybody in your company set their template to that directory, right? To that network or cloud-based location, either one works. And you're immediately consistent with everybody using the same templates to start the same types of files on every single job. Right? Too easy, right? So let's go through the steps here. To actually do this, right, here's what you're going to want to do. You're just going to go to your drop-down menu in Bluebeam under the File, New PDF from Template, Change Template Folder, right? Just little flyouts. Right? And then you just point to the location that you want to store all your PDF templates, whether it's server or cloud, any hosting site. Now, whenever anyone goes to that flyout for that new PDF from template, they just hover over it. All of your custom built templates are just going to appear in the flyout for them to choose from. Okay, it's that easy. Don't have to do anything. Don't have to reload. You don't even have to restart Bluebeam. When they select whichever template they want to use, Review just goes ahead and it creates a new document using that template, so that everything you've created is there, but with all of the fields blanked out, so that people can just fill it out, then do a save as into their own projects under a new name. And one of the things I like about putting it out on like a server or a cloud-based structure is that you get the option of marking that folder as read-only. So that keeps people from, who shouldn't, from accidentally overwriting and modifying your templates. It's a real nice way to control things. So Just a little safety tip there for you. So, Rocco, on my end, I don't see people coming to us for help with just template structures, right? But it does seem to be a pretty regular part, at least on the tech end, of all the Bluebeam service jobs we do. Is templating a topic of discussion that comes up at all when you're talking with people about setting up their construction workflows?
Well, it's like we were saying before, it will be now. I didn't know much about it. So, I mean, I knew about the dynamic fill features, in Bluebeam. I mean, that's a standard thing that you talk about, but I guess in the context of templates here, it's, it's not something that I talk to people about. So, yeah, definitely be part of the conversations moving forward.
Okay, so I guess people are not bringing it up themselves then to say like, hey, we need templates and stuff built out.
No,
You're just okay.
No, not so much. No.
Okay, no, good to know. Well, see, now you got something new to sell to people. There you go. And hopefully all the folks listening to this podcast are going to be thinking the same things you are. Like, wow, this is some good stuff. We can do a lot with this. So look, as you guys can probably tell, I am a big fan of templates in general, no matter what program you're working in. I really like the consistency and the automation that you get from them. And I want to throw in another Bluebeam templating process here today that I think is just awesome, particularly for the construction field standpoint. And that is the ability to create reusable email templates in Bluebeam. And that may sound a little bit odd. Right? But it's actually a real time saver for project managers and field supers and so on, right? Those people who are sending dozens of standard reports, progress updates, status requests, they're sending them as emails every day, right? With file attachments, etc. And they're easy to do this, right? So at the bottom of the same file menu drop down, right? As where I told you guys to go look for the form templates. You just go to the file drop down in Bluebeam, and you're going to see that there is an email templates section. Okay, it's a little flyer that says email templates, and it lets you set an email template folder and create new email templates. Look, ideally, I would tell you guys, set the location of the email templates as a subfolder of the main template folder we talked about earlier on your server in the cloud, just so you're consistent. So look, the big benefit of using the email templates is that it will let you create templates for a standard email with, the body text, the subject, and even all of the normal recipients already pre-populated. Right, so the idea rolls like this, right? You open a PDF, like the daily field report we talked about earlier, right? And then you select an email template, right? Bluebeam generates a new email using whatever your Outlook or whatever other mail system you have installed, with all of the subject lines, all of the to fields filled in, right? Along with any standard information text that you want in the body of the email and signatures and so on. Right? And then it attaches that current PDF that you have open, the one you just filled out, the form, directly to that email. Right? In essence, if I have to send this daily report we're talking about to 10 different people every day, I can build the report from a template. Okay? The original template, I build a report template, I fill that out, save it. Then I use the email template to send it with just one click of the button. I don't need to, type things like, hey, Rocco, here's today's copy of the field report, and then go in and select all 10 email addresses and then attach the file and then send it. I don't have to do any of that. I just go in, open the file, fill it out, hit email template, send, right? Done. Small efficiency changes like that add up really, really quickly across a busy construction firm. So Rocco, we have just seen a huge growth in our consulting work with construction companies in Bluebeam, and in the construction management space, I guess, over the last couple of years here. How much of the work we're doing there relates to helping these firms be more efficient in general, like we're talking about here, versus learning software or process specific, I guess, consulting?
Wow, there's a lot of difficult words in
That
that
was tough. I had a
sentence
hard
there.
time saying that. I was tripping over my own lips. I'll drink water while you answer.
Yeah, there's I mean, we do spend a lot of time helping people become more productive with the software because they make investments in it, and Bluebeam is a package that's very very affordable, right? But there's still so much in the product that people don't know about, and so as we pointed out in a podcast, in a blog, and videos, and in all of our content, right? It helps folks to become more aware, and so they're coming back to us and saying, all right, I know I can do this, but how do I do it, and how do I become more productive with the product? So, that's a big part of what we do, not only with Bluebeam, but we do it with Procore, and we're getting into Autodesk Build, and we do it in the CAD space, and on and on. So it's definitely about helping people become more efficient, more productive with the tools.
Fair enough. All right. So one last area that I wanted to touch on here today is Bluebeam's ability to create and use report templates when you're outputting your markups and or your takeoffs, whatever it may be, to a PDF file. And these are really just more of a formatting and presentation type template, but it allows you to build in, logos and headers and footers and borders, etc., into a standard form that gets drawn around the exported Bluebeam column data. And the key for this is to draw all of this information in Bluebeam directly and to avoid trying to scan an existing page that you may already have. I have taken a lot of calls on this one over the years, right? People who are applying a scanned, blank page with just their border and logo, and they're trying to use it as a template, and then they wind up missing all their markups, etc., when they print it out. Nothing showing but the border. And the reason is a scan, it's essentially a photo, right? If you scan your standard border on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper and then try and run a report on it, the scanner is actually going to take a picture of that entire document, including the blank white space in the center. All right, this when Bluebeam then takes it and it tries to drop that border template into your report, that blank space is overwriting, or it's on top of the data that you're trying to print. All right, so when you draw instead of scanning, when you draw the borders and logos and so on in Bluebeam itself, right? There's line work around the outside, but there's no center white space. It's blank, right? So that the markup data prints out on your page with no issue. So that's an important safety tip there, right? So one last thing that I will throw out here, since we're just kind of talking about reporting, and that's Bluebeam's ability to save pre-configured column data output, even though that really isn't technically a template. In essence, I guess, you can set it, or you can set sorting and filtering for data to specific types of work, and then save that as a configuration file so that it'll only show the data you want in the report, regardless of what's in Bluebeam. And in other words, right, make it a little simpler, put it this way. Maybe you want a report that you want to run that shows your subcontractors, your quantity takeoff work that you've done. Right? And you want to filter it out by trade, and you want it then sorted by materials for square footages and linear footage and so on. But in Bluebeam, hopefully, you guys are also calculating all of your costs, all of your profit, all of your taxes, all your insurance. Right? And you don't want your subs to see all that. Right? That's okay. You can set the reporting tool to filter out all that cost data and then save that configuration for future use so that you don't have to reset the filters on every single job. And like I said, it's not really a template, but it's pretty close. So I figured I'd mention it here, maybe save you guys a little bit of time and aggravation as you're trying to pull out these reports, so you can keep different ones for, estimating and subcontractors versus maybe you want to show all the costs and so on for like management, and you can just save those out. So there you go. One more tip for you guys today. All right, folks, I think that'll wrap it up for today. And with that, we are going to bounce out of here. Say goodbye to the nice people, Rocco.
Well, how do you know they're nice?
They're listeners of ours. They must be nice.
Okay.
There you go. All right, folks, we're out of here. We'll catch you next time on the Cattle Call Podcast. All right, everybody. Today's Cattle Call was brought to you courtesy of Zentech Consultants. That's Rocco and I. Zentech Consultants works with design and manufacturing firms to help our clients purchase and implement the software that they need in these complex industries. We provide a single point of contact for clients to buy, develop, and learn the most vital software systems for your specific needs. Zentech strives to be your trusted technology partner from your initial needs all the way through long-term support and training for your entire staff. So Rocco, why don't you tell them how to reach out to Zentech?
All right, yeah, you can reach out to us through zentechconsultants.net. You can email us at sales@zentechconsultants.net, or you can even call us 866-824-4459.
Excellent. We look forward to hearing from you all.